Hello and welcome to my review of STARSAND 1.0. It is as spoiler free as possible, so relax and let's get right into it. STARSAND is an open world survival game which was fully released recently. Although it doesn't look like it in the first hours, it actually belongs to the sci-fi genre. You play as a marathon runner who gets lost in a sandstorm and then somehow ends up on a desert world with two moons in the sky. At first, you're basically a caveman who has access only to stone and wood-based tools. But as you make progress, you will get some awesome sci-fi gear to help you on your journey. The desert is barren and without any resources. Food, water, wood and stone can only be found at the oases. They are your lifeline. Here you can replenish your supplies or simply cool off in the shade. There are many dangers in this game. The devs even made a trailer about the very enticing possibilities to get yourself killed. Thirst, hunger, heat and cold will challenge you. Sandstorms might kill you. You could fall off a cliff and get eaten by hyenas and crocodiles. But the major danger comes from the so-called aliens, which are giant centipedes who never stop hunting you, until it is either you or them being killed. As for food, you can kill animals and roast their meat. Or you can eat fruits: coconuts, dates, mangoes, bananas and pineapples. Coconuts are an excellent source of water and can be a lifesaver, especially in the beginning of the game. Meat is more filling, of course, but animals can be difficult to find sometimes and you have to hunt them down first. The resources are replenished after a while. That means you can cut down trees safely, but it could take a few real-time hours for them to regrow. If you don't need the wood and only the fruits, you can simply climb the trees and take them. The fruits grow back much quicker than a tree. The game certainly wants you to move constantly. There will never be enough resources if you stay in one place all the time. Unless perhaps if you manage to build a giant farm. There is farming in this game and you can build farm plots already in the beginning, but you need to find seeds. Seeds can drop occasionally as you eat fruits. In my opinion, except for the coconut seeds, they are too rare. After eating 100 mangoes or more, I only got 2 seeds. If you want to get more fruits, it's easier to simply cruise between oases and farm the naturally grown trees there. As for travel, it is difficult and dangerous to do so on foot. Your priority will be to find a camel and tame it. Once you do so, the game gets so much easier. The distances become very short, and so you can explore the whole world of STARSAND fairly quickly. In retrospective, I actually wish the distances between points of interest to be bigger. It was very easy to get anywhere once you knew where everything was. But that is the intended difficulty of STARSAND: orientation. There is no compass in the game unless you toggled it as a feature before starting a new game. It is also confusing to use the sun as orientation. It took me a while to understand that the sun rises in the south and goes down in the north, at least if you use the world map as a point of reference. And speaking of maps, you will have to create your own, which is certainly a very special feature in STARSAND that I like. There are no markers or beacon lights. You will have to travel as people did throughout the ages, without GPS and augmented reality to guide them. So, if you find it difficult not to feel being lost in the middle of nowhere, then perhaps this game is not for you. To obtain your recipes, you have to find ruins of a fallen civilization and study scrolls that lie around there. At these places, you will also find certain artifacts which are needed for the completion of the game. And now I want to discuss the cons. The major issue, in my opinion, is the inventory management. We can argue whether insufficient inventory space is a big butthurt in survival games in general, but this game is especially challenging in the beginning. In STARSAND, it is an inventory slot storage system, the same system like in Minecraft. There are only that many slots and too many different item types will clog it up very quickly. Most items can be stacked, and once you know the stack sizes, it becomes manageable. Your first priority is to get the backpack, which requires leather, which also means you have to kill some animals to get it. Especially gazelles can be tough in the beginning, as they will keep running away and are almost impossible to kill with a melee weapon. As a side note, don't craft a satchel. It is only slightly less expensive than the backpack, but will give you only one additional row of inventory slots. The backpack will give you 2 rows. With the equipped backpack, you can have altogether 24 inventory slots, which is manageable, but still a bit few on inventory slots than I would have liked. It is also frustrating that the bag you can place on a camel is of the same capacity as a normal chest, 8 slots in total. The game certainly wants you to plan better what is really important having with you. There is also a hidden durability on the items. Your tools will break after a while, and there is no durability bar or any visual indication to show how much durability you have left. That means you always have to carry spare resources with you to craft a new tool, which means your inventory is being clogged up even further. Stone tools break very fast, but iron ones can be used for several real-time hours before they break. And the iron ones are those which you will be primarily using anyway. So actually it's not a big deal. Nevertheless, I would have preferred to see visually how my tools slowly wear off. There is also not much variety in enemies. More or less, you will constantly fight the centipedes, which always look and act the same. Once you figure out how best to handle them, the only dynamic is how many of them will come at you at the same time and which weapons you use to kill them. Later on in the game, you can build traps and even coconut grenades. That's a cool idea for sure. But in my opinion, this is so late in the game that you don't really need these traps and grenades. You'll have better weapons. The base building is another issue in this game. There is not much variety what type of architecture you can build, and anyway, the resources for that are pretty sparse. If you want to build a proper house or even a mansion, you will need lots of clay. But clay comes only in deposits which are rare and don't respawn for several hours. You will have to travel around the whole game world if you want to get lots of it quickly, or wait for several hours and mine the deposits close to you. Either way, once you could be able to build a base big enough, you will most likely have completed the story and thus the game. You also don't need to build houses in order to survive. A simple tent to sleep and a campfire will do. Another issue, you can decide for yourself whether it is big or not, is the saving system. You can only save your game by building a tent or a bed. There are no automatic saves. So be careful while saving your game. Don't save it during a fight with the centipedes or when you are close to death, which should be obvious anyway. Other than that, it's actually almost impossible to wake up to a sudden death, so you should be fine. But this saving system also means you will not be able to create many saves if, for instance, you wanted to replay certain interesting events. STARSAND is a single-player game and it is intended that way. I don't think the devs will ever add multiplayer, since there are certain story elements which make it difficult to add multiplayer. So if you wanted to play with your friends, this is obviously a con. And now to the pros of the game. STARSAND is not very demanding in terms of graphics, and even an older PC should handle this game without any lag or stutter. I also didn't encounter any bugs, except that one time when the crocodile turned into a walking dead. The atmosphere of this game is fantastic. Even if the graphics are not AAA game comparable, the light and shadow look superb. The sunrise and sunset are beautiful, the night sky gorgeous. The music in this game is amazing and only strengthens the sense of loneliness, but also awe and greatness of being one with this desert world. It is very relaxing to sit at the campfire while your food is being prepared and watch the moons. There is a big sense of adventure. If you are an explorer, you will want to know what lies behind those mountains or what awaits you in the pyramid. The vastness of barren wasteland can't be found in almost any other game, especially if you explore its world on foot. In the beginning, the game may appear hard, but once you figure out how crafting and resource management work, and how you can easily dispatch the centipedes, the game becomes easier and easier over time, like in most other survival games. Once you get your final equipment, it becomes like a walk in the park. You have managed to survive, and can now reap the rewards, relax, and properly enjoy your surroundings. But if this is not enough for you, you can make the game harder or even play on permadeath. But I don't recommend permadeath. Especially at the end of the game, there is a lot of jumping, which almost always makes you take fall damage, and misjudging a jump will kill you. It would be especially frustrating to die almost at the end of the game. The story is rather rudimentary, but overall, it's fitting for this game. It is a tale of a fallen civilization and how you fit into it. I covered it in length in another video, link in the description. I don't like to give games a rating. In my opinion, it is highly subjective. Instead, I'll compare STARSAND to similar games. If you like survival games and sci-fi games that are about exploration and atmosphere, like Subnautica and No Man's Sky, you will most likely enjoy this one. In spirit, STARSAND is also similar to the less known Solus project. If you like to explore ancient ruined temples like in the good old Tomb Raider, STARSAND could resonate with you. Your caveman status at the beginning of the game reminds me very much of Conan Exiles. And if you're a fan of Stargate, then this game is an absolute must for you. STARSAND is a solid indie game title that is, unfortunately, less known and because of this very underrated. I spent around 35 hours to finish the game, but if you are into farming and base building, you can end up playing much longer. If we use the basic metric of $1 equals 1 game hour, then for the current price of around $17, this game is certainly not overpriced. And there we have it. I hope you enjoyed my review and found it helpful. If you liked this video, consider to leave a like, subscribe and turn on the notification bell to be alerted when next videos similar to this one come out. If you want to learn more about the story of STARSAND, you can check out my other video where I explore it in length. My name is Anglerhell, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!